Hello, welcome to Isasnora Snores by Carol L. Paur, published by Black Rose Writing. Here we take snippets from the book and bring them to life. Last time, the king's knights arrived at the cottage late into the night. They had heard a loud and strange noise, and glass was shattering all over the kingdom. When the knights saw baby Isasnora, however, they forgot all about the loud clanging. 3 of the knights fought over who would hold her. Sir Hybroth, a more serious knight, did not hold the baby and insisted they look through the cottage. Not finding the source of the noise, the knights left, but Sir Caleb said they would be back. Let's take a peek. After a sleepless night, Isasnora's parents were cleaning up from the previous day's festivities when trumpets blasted outside their door. Sir Caleb looked out the window and saw the king and all his servants. Lady Morella picked up Isasnora and tried to awaken the baby. The king, an impatient man, pushed himself into the home, followed by Sir Hybroth. Both men were immediately struck with terrible scratching and laughing. The stained glass medallion around the king's neck shattered. Sir Caleb immediately shoved cotton into their ears. The strange shaking and laughing stopped. Sir Hybroth stepped forward and pointed at Isasnora.
"There's the culprit. I've been spying on this family."
The king gasped in shock.
You're telling me this child is the source of our problems?
Did you not see your medallion breaking? Did you not hear the loud snores before we were suddenly beset with laughing and itching? Your problem is right there. Listen.
Since the birth of Isasnora 4 days ago, there had been no sleep for King Frederick or his household. Whiskers coated his cheeks, and shadows hung under his brown eyes. His crown teetered over his eyebrows. He was awake enough to say,
A baby is the source of all our troubles? Sir Callum and Lady Morella, are you two sorcerers? If we allow this to continue, our kingdom will crumble.
Sire, just a wee bit of cotton in everyone's ears will certainly solve our problems.
Prince Hubert eats anything he pulls out of his ears. Strange, however, this snoring has not affected the little prince. Furthermore, how do you propose we keep the glass from shattering? I'm afraid earplugs will not work.
Sir Caleb stepped toward the king and spoke up.
Sire, remember the Vandals who destroyed several buildings last year? They were all replaced with wood and stone. Perhaps that is what we should do with the entire kingdom.
Wood? Stone? The pride of this kingdom is its beautiful glass. If anything is going to be replaced, it'll be my royal clockmaker, painter, and their infant.
Sir Caleb was the royal clockmaker, and Lady Morella was the royal painter. Sir Hybroth looked at everyone before making another pronouncement.
With all that has been happening, I took the liberty of checking the water levels. Sire, we're sinking.
At the beginning of this book, you would have learned that the glass kingdom of Calelind was built above water. Each year, the water levels were checked to make sure the kingdom was not sinking. Sir Hybroth believed that the sinking kingdom had everything to do with Isasnora, but he had no idea that his formal proclamation would make King Frederick faint.
King Frederick, get me some water.
Lady Morella handed him a water pitcher, in which the knight splashed over the king, who sputtered awake and shook in rage. On cue, 3-year-old Prince Hubert entered and tottered over to the sleeping Isasnora.
Baby, I love, I keep.
No, baby, go bye-bye.
No matter what Sir Caleb or Lady Morella said, the king was adamant. they would have to leave the Kingdom Calelind. King Frederick whisked his son out of the cottage, but turned to the little family.
You must be gone by nightfall.
By 2 o'clock that afternoon, Sir Calum and Lady Morella, with their infant Isasnora, left their home and walked toward the glass drawbridge. They were followed by their family and friends, while minstrels played sad music. At the gate, the family hugged each other. Father Gratitude Mercy, the priest who had baptized Isasnora, gave the young family a blessing. Soon it was time to leave. Isasnora's parents crossed the glass drawbridge while their family and friends waved goodbye. Will Sir Calum, Lady Morella, and Isasnora ever see their family and friends again? What surprises await the family in exile? Will they survive the forest Pediole? Stay tuned for next week's episode and we'll find out. You may purchase the entire book of Isasnora Snores at Black Rose Writing, Barnes & Noble, and Amazon. I'm Elizabeth Paur, your narrator. Thank you for listening. Cheers!